This video is the fifth video in the algebra set of videos, and in particular in this video we're going to look at solving basic linear equations. There's 4 steps on how to solve basic linear equations. Firstly, you should remove any brackets if there's any present in the equation. Next, you should bring all the x's to the left hand side. You should bring all numbers to the right hand side and then make the left hand side look like 1x or 1y or 1t or 1z or whatever the variable might be. To look at this in more detail, I have 4 examples. So to begin with example 5.1, it says find the value of x in each of the following equations. In A, we have 5x plus 2 is equal to 14. Here we want to figure out what x is. Therefore, I'm going to minus 2 from both sides. When I take 2 from both sides, I end up with 5x is equal to 12. Next, I need to find what x is. At the moment, I have what 5x is, and that's 5 multiplied by x. Therefore, to get what 1x is, I need to divide both sides by 5. When I divide both sides by 5, I end up with x is equal to 12 divided by 5. Next, in B, we have 3x plus 7 is equal to 32 minus 2x. Here, I'm going to bring all the x's to the left-hand side. I'm going to plus 2x to both sides. And I'll be left with 3x plus 2x, which is 5x, plus 7 is equal to 32. To explain this in more detail, here I have an x, a number, and an x. To remind yourself from junior cycle, we can only add x's to x's, and we can only take or add numbers to numbers. Therefore, when I'm plussing 2x to both sides, I can only plus the 2x to the 3x and not the 7, and here I can only plus the 2x to the minus 2x and not the 32. Once I've done that, the x's on the right hand side cancel and we're left with no x's. Next then, we need to bring all the numbers to the right hand side, so I'm going to take 7 from both sides. When I do this, I'll be left with 5x is equal to 25. Next then, I need to make the left hand side look like 1x is equal to. At the moment, I have what 5x is equal to, so I'm going to divide both sides by 5, and I'll be left with x equal to 5. Example C has 3 times 2x plus 1 is equal to 2x plus 11. Firstly, we need to get rid of the bracket here, and to do that, we multiply 2x by 3 and 1 by 3. When we do that, we'll end up with 6x plus 3 is equal to 2x plus 11. Again, I need to bring all the x's to the left-hand side, meaning I'm going to minus 2x from both sides. When I do that, I'll be left with 4x plus 3 is equal to 11. Next, I'm going to bring all the numbers to the right-hand side. When I do that, I'm going to minus 3 from both sides, and I'll have 4x is equal to 8. And finally, I need to get what 1x is, as at the moment we have what 4x is. So I'm going to divide both sides by 4. And when I do that, I'll end up with x is equal to 8 divided by 4, which is 2. Lastly, looking at example D, we have 5 times 2t minus 4 is equal to 3 times 2t minus 1 minus 1. Again, before we solve this and figure out what x is equal to, we need to begin by multiplying out the brackets. Here we'll have 5 times 2t and 5 times minus 4. Then we'll have 3 times 2t and 3 times minus 1. Multiplying that out, we'll have 5 times 2, which is 10t, minus 5 times 4, which is 20, is equal to 3 times 2t, which is 6t, and 3 times minus 1, which is minus 3. Then we need to bring down the minus 1. Next, I need to add the like terms on each side. The right hand side has minus 3 and minus 1. We need to try and make those the same term. Therefore, we'll get 10t minus 20 is equal to 6t, and then minus 3 minus 1, which is minus 4. Next, we need to get all the x's to the left-hand side. Therefore, I'm going to minus 6t from both sides to get rid of the t on the right-hand side. Minusing 6t from both sides will leave us with 4t minus 20 is equal to minus 4. Next, I need to get all the numbers to the right-hand side. So to do that, I'm going to plus 20 to both sides. When I plus 20 to both sides, I'll end up with 4t is equal to 16. Finally, we need to figure out what t is. At the moment, we have 4t is equal to 16, and we need what t is equal to. So we divide both sides by 4. When we divide both sides by 4, we end up with t being equal to 4. If you're able to understand examples A to D here, you should be able to answer any type of linear equation that does not involve fractions. The most important thing to note is when you're doing these questions to try lay them out exactly like I have here. It's important that your equals to is always almost in a straight line. That means that you won't get mixed up in terms of where the x's are, where the numbers are, what's on the left-hand side, what's on the right-hand side. Of course, it'll never be perfect, but it's important that you try to keep the equal sign in the center to make it easy, one, for you to keep track of what's going on, but in terms of the exam, to make it easier for the examiner to figure out what you're thinking and understanding what went through your head as you were answering the question. That's the end of the 5th algebra video. In the next video, we'll look at solving linear equations that involve fractions.